It's nice to have sound. It's nice to have vibration. It's not fun being interrupted. It's just not fun. It's also not fun, and I'm trying not to be negative. I'm really not. But with positive is negative. I'm sorry. And I don't want to bring anybody down. I just want to raise and rise. But I have to explain myself. So when somebody comes and watches one of my videos, they understand how I think. If you don't know how I think, then what good is my work? I do call it work. I do call it a hobby. I do call it studies. I am like Sherlock Holmes. I look at a situation. Doesn't matter what it is, and I try to find or figure out something I can do with that situation to turn it into words, mathematics, shapes, colors. I'd like to dive into our vocabulary, words. I'd like to know English, what it means. It's a language, but do they call it, I want to know what the real word is. Is it phonics? What is it to build a letter? Build a word. What is the understanding of a word? I went up. How high? So I went way up. So is that an expression meaning it's a verb, it's an adverb, it's an adjective, it's a conjunction? How many guidelines are there in language? We're going to go to basic math. Multiplication, addition, division, subtraction. And then you have the power of the number. The power of the number itself. So the reflective power of a single number will always be the number itself. But its complete mirror, its basic mirror is only going to be 2 times itself. And then it will be 3 times itself, and that will be standard, and then it'll be 4 times itself. And that'll flip your cube upside down. We can also look at it another way. We can say that we're just going to mirror our numbers and then create the numbers in the center. If we mirror them twice, I pass over this, so I must mirror this 1.5 times. But in all actuality, 1, 1, 1 becomes 3. Now, isn't it funny the way 1, 1, 1 becomes 3? When I only have 3 areas and I'm starting into this area, it means where the dot is, it starts over here. From here through halfway and over here becomes 1. 2 halfway becomes 1.5 into the center. So it's always from the edge into the center where you go. So anyways, let me skip over that. So now we have math. Now, what good is math? What is a division? What is a multiplication? What is a subtraction? Where and can we actually put a dot, and what will it mean? What is an X? What are our letters, and what do they establish over the train tracks? Over the TT, train track. 11. And the wheels, the iron, the metal, the arc, what it carries. What is carried on the rail is the arc, is what is known to be the arc of train, the arc of car, the arc of bus, the arc of anything. And how many wheels do we have? Do we have a 1 wheel? Do we have a 2 wheel? Do we have a 3 wheel? Do we have a 4 wheel? Do you know what? What about the 5th wheel? Has anybody seen anything with the 5th wheel? Well, actually, yes. It's double tires on the drives and then 2 for the steering. Sometimes there's 4 for the steering. So right, and those are big, heavy trucks. Usually, they're not usually the 18-wheelers. They'll be the 10-wheelers. So then you have the fifth wheel. Well, wait a second. You can't have 5 wheels. That means you'd have you'd have some kind of other, but there are vehicles with 5 wheels. I've seen it before. It's mostly toy vehicles and electric vehicles. And if you look on one of the sites online, you will find a 5. But usually the number 5 is used for the fifth wheel, which is the connection to the trailer. So when you get to number 5, you already have 10 wheels. A, B, C, D equals to 10. So what equals to 5? 1 times 2, 1 plus 2 equals to 5. 3 and 2, 1 and 4 equals to 5. If I would say 2.5 and 2.5 equals to 5, you'd be absolutely right, but there'd be something interesting going on in this. Because to meet the cubonic world at 2.5, you fall into the hole, which creates a C. Imagine if this was a complete area, it would create a C. The area over here, although you see the hole, right? Remember, the basket has a rim. The basket has a net. The basket has a base that is connected to a base that goes to a pole that's sitting on the ground that you can go and take your 3-point shot. And there are the shooter, who is the scorer, and then those who aid. And they get, instead of an aid, they call it assist. And when the crowd is there, they call it attendance. And if you think or you believe that they're just words because they're talking about the attendance, is it like an audience? Like an audio? So the shooter scored, and his helpers were those who assisted the shooter. They each get the same point, but one goes under S and one goes under A. The spirit and the energy that helps bring the matter within one's mind. Matter and energy, Mars and Earth. Matter 77, energy 74. So I create from the alphabet given to me A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way over to Z. But I'm in the cubonic world. So everything stops at 9. After that, it's a combination. Noting that when you get to 40, or 10, 20, and 30, and 40, they're all different from each other. Because the 10 house is a 1.0 equals to 10, 10 pennies equal to 10 cents equals to 100 equals to only one whole. Yes, 100 is one whole of something. 100%, it's a whole. So everything to begin with comes with 3 to make a whole. But yet, when we use 4, we turn it over, bring it back to the beginning again. So how did I come up with that just now? Why did 3 create a whole? 3 by 3 by 3 is this cube. To create square, you remember I said just mirror it? Well, if I'm mirroring it, I'm just creating this, and then I create here. So 1 and 1 is 2. And you have 4 over here. 4 and 4 is 8. And then you have 7 and 7 is 14, and it creates an X. So when you come okay, and you get 1, 4, 7, 2, 5, 8. So when I connect the primary to begin with, 1 and 1 equals to 2. 4 and 4 equals to 5. Now look what's happening now. Look what's happening. I have a line that got drawn over here, but I do not have an equal sign going over here, which is automatically telling me a story. There's got to be 2 of something. This line can't actually just choose an area to go through. It can't. You see, here's the find center of that line. In order to find the area space of that line, I would have to do this. So if I'm looking for this area here, to draw that line, let me see. Wow, I can't even see that well. One line goes there, one line goes here, and one line goes here. So when I'm going to draw, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw like this. Whoop, like this, so I can have a line in the center. So now I have to understand what the angle is, because the basic angle inside, okay, this is 45. Now I went twice the area, so is it 675 is what I believe this angle is. Don't forget, we're going to take another look here. And I didn't go from here to here, because if I did, I would find what is the dead center. But the dead center already has a line on it. But doing it this way and finding the dead center, what is that true line? This was 45 degrees if I went this way. But this goes 1.5 times whatever its value, bringing it to 675, and then I do this over here. So if we wanted to draw the understanding of what is the 5-point star, maybe we can find it through that understanding. So now what we're going to do is 4 and 8, right? And 7 and 5. And this is what it looks like. This one over here takes a deep step this way. So this one will give you the 45 angle, and that one will give you 675. So when I look at this, I know this is more than, I know this is 6.75 times what is whole. But what is whole? Is whole 1? Or is the mirror of something greater than 1? Where do we find these numbers? So I create wow, I thought my video was over already. Okay. So, yeah, so we're going to just leave that alone for now to just show you. What is this here? Is how many seconds are in an hour, 2 hours, 7 hours, etc. The thing is, we also want to know in a minute. In 1 minute, there are 60 seconds. The thing is that when you find that the clock, you know, strikes 12, right? Clock strikes 12. But the reality is, how can I look at it? Let me look at it this way. When the clock strikes 12, okay, it's already past 12. When the clock strikes 12, it's past 12. Or you can look at it this way. Here's the center of the clock. When the clock is ready to strike 12. So as it's striking 12, okay, it has a whole second. Do you know the way the stars and the light from the stars hang on for years and years and years? So the element about passing through 12, which is the fine line over here, okay, is now on both sides of the 12 before. So there's more than a second inside of a second, because everything takes up area space, even when it's no longer there. And one of the things
we can look at is compression. I don't really want to, maybe not compression, or how about a boat and the wave? Or how about a truck and the snow on the back door? Or how about a car passes you, and you feel the wind, right? So anyways, just talking about that. So we have to understand our seconds in the day and how many times it happens and what they can actually be broken down and understood to be. What is 60? In my work, ABC, instead of going 1.0, right, I just like to know what is 1.0. What is 1.0? One and all is what it means. Zero is all. You can look at zero being this way, right? How can I do that? If I did this to zero, zero would be 2, 4, 6, 8. That's your true zero. It's also known as the 15th letter for O. But what if your zero was this? Do you ever notice that when you look at the zero, it's usually like this? And just knowing that my zero is like this, it could be telling me it's these two here or these two here. Because when you look at the letter on the keyboard, when it prints it, it's more on the outside. So it's very questionable what that zero is. But the base zero, if you really want to connect a base zero, what you would do is you would take 3 x's, okay? And actually, let's do it easier. This is the starting of your base zero, except you went from 2 different worlds. You went from aigu and grave, French. This is valued at 24. The 24th letter, which is also 03 reverse. But if you're really looking at size as this, you already have, my camera keeps going in and out, I can't stand it. Okay, so you already have, you already have 9 areas. So you have to multiply this by 9, equaling to 216. I like to put 0.0 because it means all of it. And then 3, and you multiply that by 9, and then you go 27. So the numeric value, the connection between this is the rotation of the sun and the moon, and the gateway between the 7th gate of birth in Saturn at the Venus gates. This is the Venus gates. 9 and 3 coming together says angel, 10, Saturn. It says Fibonacci, 11, creation, in which extends into what will be the sun in your first creation of 9. There are 2 ways to create 9, but your first base creation of 9 is through your AD, which the 14th letter is N, or DNA, and. When you multiply 1 times 4, 1 plus 4, you get 5 and 4. When you multiply that, you get 20 and 9. IT. 20 and 9. But if we stop it there, we're just going to get 9, because that's when the house gets divided on an addition. The reason we have 9 here is we have 9 area spaces. We can create an X. Now, the thing that's next is we have a complete X that goes this way. So now I would have a 10th X, and that would give me my 24 hours of the day. And in the 24 hours of the day, that 24 part is towards what is the rotation in the gateway, which is the moon. This is 2160 is your cube. Now what you do is you take this and you add it. Equals to 33. 3 times 3 is 6. 3 plus 3 is 9. That is rotation. 6 and 9, the yin and the yang. When you multiply it and add it, it's 54 and 15. which is 69 again. This is the numeric value for the word sun. In fact, it's love, sun. It's love in the sun. 20 and 9 create your IT system to matter and energy. The IT system to Earth and Mars. The IT system of Q's creation of sweet 16, 1 times 6, 1 plus 6 equals to 13. What a sweet 16 that creates. Second part of creation through 16 is the moon and the gateway. That's what was created next. And within it, we already see Earth 7 to Mars 6. Mars 6 to Earth 7, equaling to 31, 13, 31. And 7 equals to blue 40. When you jump into that, you're going to ask why, and you're going to say Mars, okay, 13 and 01 and 18 and 19 equals to 57. That's a lie. No, it's not a lie. It's a bad addition. Equals to 51. The reverse of this is 14 and 26 and 09 and 08. When these two come together, you know it's a creation through the Venus heavens of Ra. 1, 18, and 8. The French will say that you might have to say Jura. And the reason for that is because the word 10 is mentioned. When 10 is mentioned, right away you have to light up the angel, you have to light up Saturn, you have to light up the rat sun, and now you have to go into the sewage. And now you have to look for 235 BCE, Bell Canada Enterprises, which is your cubonic biological creation. BCE. Where does this come from? It comes from here, 11. Your cubonic dice is all about 11, 11, 11 equals to 33. You multiply it. It equals to 13, 31. Now, there's two ways to do this. When you multiply it and you get 4 numbers, we might be able to put these two into the center, or I keep them to the right and go 1364. So I'm not sure what I want to do with this number. I'm not sure if I was going to put the 2 numbers in the center. I'm not sure, but I'm just going to leave it like that for now. Bell Canada Enterprises, telephone lines. The television is made up out of the numbers 52, 25. Earth, Jack are both that. 25, known as a quarter, known as only 1 part of 4. 25 can also be 2.5 something. If you're meeting at the center of the dice cube, 25 from 1 and 6 would be right over here. That's where you would meet, right in the hole. So the thing is, now that we have apartment buildings, apartment, right? We live in 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5. We have studios. We have bachelor. And we do have to note that this is primary over here. 3.5 is primary. The center of this cube is 3.5, or also noted as 3.5. So always remember, when 3.5 comes together, it is ST and ND. 35 is where we stand, because your 2 primary Fibonacci creation star system inversions of the numbers will create 1 times 1 and 1 plus 1 equaling to 2 equaling to 1. Your next level is going to equal to 2 is going to equal to 3. So when you get this, your first equation equals to 3, your next equation equals to 5, and you started out with 11, and you ended up with 8. You end up with 2 and 8. So now your moon cycle is 28 days. you can do this two ways. You have you have 88, plus you have 19. You have 107, which is also September. And there's another one, oh yes, and 20. As soon as you learn to understand and you see all the replicas of and direction of what certain letters are doing and where they're going, you're going to understand that this is a passage. This is the entity between the you and the passage DNA to Earth, the divided world. W is number 23, in which there's 3 levels of 23. You can get 23 through 15. You can get 23 through. Did I do that right? 1 times 5, 1 plus 5. What is the best way to get 23? 12 gets it, and 1 times 5, 1 plus 5 is 6 and 5, 5, 30, 41. 4 times 1, 4 plus 1 is 5. No, 1, 5 doesn't get it. 1, 5. Why doesn't 1, 5 get it? Just give me a second here. Okay, I'm wrong. 1, 5 does get it. Your next one is 6 and 5 equaling to 11. Now, I can split this, right? I can split this, but is there any other direct? See, this goes direct. 1 times 2, 1 plus 2 equals 3 and 2. This one, I end up with this if I continue this. If I split it, you see there's a split in this. 6 times 5, 6 plus 5. Now there's an equation here that will bring me to 1 and 2. The other equation will bring me to 3. 33, 35. That is my split from 6 and 5. I get 30 and I got 1 and 2. This remains 1 and 2. This one will split again. This one will split to 1 times 2, you'll get 2. 1 times 1, you'll get 1. So now we can join them back together as single digits. Again, you notice it's on one side of the roof, the other side of the roof. So I'm just trying to open up to understanding equations. So anyways, Raphael, 27 minutes into this. There's just so many things that are going on. The clock. But everything that I found is based on the cube, the Kaaba. Everything is based on the cube. The cycles here, to me, is a 10 face. The opposites are 7, 11. The dice will always be sitting down this way on the table. So you already have never. You can call it north and south 11, 7. So 18 is high when you're running on the pole. 18 is high when you're running on the pole, and 36 becomes the ring. So when you're sitting on the pole, you got Venus. And you're for ire. You got your I and R, 13. When it gets to 2 cubes, things change a little bit. There is no more 1. Now everything's relevant to 2. 1 and 1 is 2. And that's doubles. You get to go again. So you're already at the Venus beta gates. So when they talk about all these elite that are around the world, their names fit inside this cube. 11 times 11 times 11, noting that 1 times 1, 1 plus 1 will equal 1 and 2, or the 12th letter. That is L. The voided space on this cube says Allah. Abba, Allah. Father, Allah. Why Abba? Because 1 and 2 is your basic creation off the cube. Your 1 and 2 is also denoted to 1 pole, revert, and to 2 side, revert. 1 and 2. Also to note 7 on each side connected to what is the 10 face. The 10 face. To also note that the numeric value for Earth and for your heart and many other calculations will create J and G, Jack, God if you want, but it's also numeric value 7 and 10, reflecting off to what is the cube. The cube has 160 around. I'm guessing 160 around. The connecting of 10
4 times is 160 around. It also has 180 around. 180, you're counting all the area spaces that are voided on the dot on this. Every single one will reflect 45 and it'll say the sun. I can go on. We're just going to stop it here for now. And this is the Mars terrestrial planets. We are the entities. We have been brought here to broaden our minds, to be less introverted, but to understand what it means to be extroverted, to be loving and caring. And why are we introverted? Why we're at an I shouldn't be saying any of this. We're a very unbalanced species at this part and time in our lives. The moon, which possibly can be the deceiver or receiver, over time has sort of not been able to transfer the spirit within of us, and as born with a basic motherboard a long time ago, we have not evolved the way we should have evolved, and it's not our faults. Raphael 7286 in a constellation of Pegasus, knowing that 64 is Zion, Israel, and to switch it around to what is 13 man. Raphael DC is 13 man in the house of DC. Amen. Thank you, Kaaba, for teaching me. I want to learn more. This is where we're going to get our freedom, is to knowing the house we live in, why things exist, knowing the alphabet. It is what it is, and I only know what I know, and I don't know what I don't know. And I don't believe everything I hear, but I do deduct. Thank you.